Brought to you by Penguin.
Stay Where You Are and Then Leave. Written by John Boyne and read by Adrian Rawlins. Chapter 1. Send Me Away with a Smile. Every night before he went to sleep, Alfie Summerfield tried to remember how life had been before the war began. And with every passing day, it became harder and harder to keep the memories clear in his head. The fighting had started on the 28th of July, 1914. Others might not have remembered that date so easily, but Alfie never forgot it, for that was his birthday. He had turned 5 years old that day, and his parents threw him a party to celebrate. But only a handful of people showed up. Granny Summerfield, who sat in the corner weeping into her handkerchief and saying, "We're finished, we're all finished," over and over, until Alfie's mum said that if she couldn't get a hold of herself, she would have to leave. Old Bill Hemperton, the Australian from next door, who was about 100 years old, and played a trick with his false teeth, sliding them in and out of his mouth using nothing but his tongue. Alfie's best friend, Kalena Janacek, who lived 3 doors down at number 6, and her father, who ran the sweet shop on the corner and had the shiniest shoes in London. Alfie invited most of his friends from Dumley Road, but that morning, one by one, their mothers knocked on the Summerfields' front door and said that little so-and-so wouldn't be able to come. "Well, it's not a day for a party, is it?" asked Mrs. Smythe from number 9, the mother of Henry Smythe, who sat in the seat in front of Alfie in school and made at least 10 disgusting smells every day. "It's best if you just cancel it, dear." "I'm not cancelling anything," said Alfie's mother, Margie, throwing up her hands in frustration after the 5th parent had come to call. "If anything, we should be doing our best to have a good time today. And what am I to do with all this grub if no one shows up?" Alfie followed her into the kitchen and looked at the table, where corned beef sandwiches, stewed tripe, pickled eggs, cold tongue, and jellied eels were all laid out in a neat row covered over with tea towels to keep them fresh. "I can eat it," said Alfie, who liked to be helpful. "Ha!" said Margie, "I'm sure you can. You're a bottomless pit, Alfie Summerfield. I don't know where you put it all, honestly, I don't." When Alfie's dad, Georgie, came home from work at lunchtime that day, he had a worried expression on his face. He didn't go out to the backyard to wash up like he usually did, even though he smelled a bit like milk and a bit like a horse. Instead, he stood in the front parlour reading a newspaper before folding it in half, hiding it under one of the sofa cushions, and coming into the kitchen. "All right, Margie?" he said, pecking his wife on the cheek. "You all right, Georgie?" "All right, Alfie?" he said, tousling the boy's hair. "All right, Dad." "Happy birthday, son. What age are you now, 27? "I'm 5, said Alfie, who couldn't imagine what it would be like to be 27, but felt very grown up to think that he was 5 at last. "5, I see," said Georgie, scratching his chin. "Seems like you've been around here a lot longer than that." "Out, out, out!" shouted Margie, waving her hands to usher them back into the front parlour. Alfie's mum always said there was nothing that annoyed her more than having 2 men under her feet when she was trying to cook. And so Georgie and Alfie did what they were told, playing a game of snakes and ladders at the table by the window as they waited for the party to begin. "Dad," said Alfie. "Yes, son?" "How was Mr. Asquith today?" "Much better." "Did the vet take a look at him?" "He did, yes. Whatever was wrong with him seems to have worked its way out of his system." Mr. Asquith was Georgie's horse, or rather, he was the dairy's horse, the one who pulled Georgie's milk float every morning when he was delivering the milk. Alfie had named him the day he'd been assigned to Georgie a year before. He'd heard the name so often on the wireless that it seemed it could only belong to someone very important, and so did...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?